Welcome back. I'm Wavepunk, and this is day 40 of producing for a year. Today, we are writing MIDI. We're writing MIDI the whole day. We're going to try and get some notes in place that work well in our big build section for our Psytrance grand finale boss fight track for our chiptune EP. So if you don't want to watch me fiddle with notes, you skip this episode. That's all we're going to be doing this entire thing. I do it for like an hour. I'll try to edit it down to a reasonable amount of time. So again, we're working on this big climax to the entire EP at this point, and I've been feeling intimidated and scared to start it because I'm worried I'm going to start doing it. I'm just not going to find the right pieces and just kind of flounder for a while. But we're forging in, just like entering a boss fight. You just kind of got to go in and get yourself kicked around a little bit before you start to figure out what you're doing. And the first idea I have is to take our arpeggios from the section right before this and have them continue on building up with energy in this section. I love putting arpeggios that have more notes than the time signature we're in, but not like in a compressed time, not kind of in a hemiola like 3/4 where you're like spreading 3 notes to take the same amount of time as 4 notes. The 4 notes take up 4 notes of space, but then it's a 6-note pattern, so the last 2 notes are notes like 1 and 2 of the next 4-note group. I enjoy the way that those 2 rhythms bang against each other, and then it creates this cool opportunity for us to take a note away when we want to increase in intensity. So we go to a 5-note pattern, then go to a 4-note pattern. We could even maybe then go to a 3-note pattern and have it just kind of like build up where we're going. So instead of speeding up the actual tempo the notes are playing at, we're just cutting a note out of the pattern so the pattern repeats more quickly. So we start with that. Figuring out which specific notes this pattern was going to play was probably the most fun part of the piece. There's definitely some kind of Celeste references going on in here that I do enjoy. But in general, I liked the way that this sounded. Now, while it sounds good up until this point, the only thing I don't like about this is the 4-note groupings at the end. I kind of had suspected this might be the case, and once I put the notes in, it did sound this way. The 4 notes, you start to lose the actual sweep because they're happening so quickly and there's so few notes within the sweep. It starts to sound more like a little ostinato pattern that kind of like blends whatever. Like it starts to like sound like a sound, like one coherent sound rather than a shape that's moving. So it doesn't feel like a really fast sweep. It just feels like a cluster of notes, like an arpeggiated chord of some sort. I didn't like it. That kind of like rising, sweeping sound is lost. And I'm moving into this 4-note pattern when we get to the 5 chord, the dominant chord at the top of this progression, which is twice as long. We're really trying to like get to 5 and then from there even further build up energy so that it really feels impactful when we come back down to 1. So that means we do need to change notes when we get to this pattern. Something has to change within this. I can't just have this 4-note pattern repeating, not rising for 8 bars. It'll actually kill energy instead of increasing energy. So this was kind of not working. If I left it as it was less energetic. If I tried to change it, it was distracting. So we had to try something else. So then I had the idea of, instead of this point going kind of the same idea but 1 less note, so it's a grouping of 4, what if I grabbed the arpeggios from the beginning of the track that I used to swell into the drop and just slap those in this spot here. They are groupings of 4, but they are twice as fast. They're very, very short notes. That'll definitely help create an increase in energy and will, again, sound very chiptuney, very Game Boy-y. But I don't know. Let's see. Definitely better energy, but how do we go about, again, making it not wear your ear out? You have to listen to this for 8 bars straight. So I tried having the middle note move around, tried having the top note move around. Again, it was kind of that distracting thing from the beginning, but then we tried having the middle note change, kind of waver, have every other one move around, and by itself, it sounded fine. But in the mix, it was getting lost. this mix is very sparse right now. We still are nowhere close to having all the tracks going that are going to be going in this area. So this wasn't really working. I didn't want to throw any of these audios away, so I'm just kind of pulling them down and saving them for later. I'll go back and delete the ones I don't need at the end. But continuing to think about it, continuing to brainstorm, how can we deal with these things? I hit the idea of, okay, well, these notes are twice as fast as the notes we had before. So 4 of them happen in half the time. What if I did an 8-note sweep, and it would take up the same amount of space as the 4-note sweep of the previous note length, but would maybe maintain that shape a little bit better? I also thought, what if I had him going the other direction instead of going okay, so this can work. I think this gives me that speed the way I want it to, but also maintains the shape. Now, what if we started subtracting notes from this sweep over the course of those 8 bars? Yeah, so we've been subtracting notes, right? It was like 6 notes, and then we went down to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of thing. And now we've gone to 8, but twice as fast. And then we're gonna go down to 7. We'll do 2 measures of 8, 2 measures of 7, 2 measures of 6, and then a measure of 5 and a measure of 4 to round it out. I think it'll work. I think that kind of works. Make all the notes a little shorter. Too short. You know, for being its own part, for being its own thing, I think this probably does the job. We're gonna have a lot of other things going on. This is not the melody. Still didn't write the melody today, damn it. In context, I don't know if I like that I switched the directions of the arpeggio, that I was going do-go-dig-it. Before that, now I was going like, I think it's, maybe I should have stuck to going the other direction. I could try to fix that right now, but holy shit, that's just a lot more note movement. And it's been an hour. I think this is a good place to stop for now. The only way I'm going to get through this section and have me actually be happy with the end is if I really do take the time on each little bit like this to make it good and not just kind of slap a whole bunch of elements together. This is a good amount of effort for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the MIDI. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.